So we are back for part 2 of the patch instructional tutorial. So firstly, I just wanted to pull up this resource. So this is adafruit.com. They have an entire write-up for the microcontroller that we're going to be using today. So here you can see they have a really great guided tour, like diagram of the entire microcontroller and just what's on it. So you can see it's got a micro USB port, which is what we will use to actually code this thing. You can see it's got this little dot star, which is the light we are going to be controlling. We can also see the on and off switch, the reset button, and then all of those other terminals that we did not use. So you can see all of these sewing pads, and then also where we're going to connect the battery. So if you want to continue to look at this resource, they also have all of the pinouts in this nice little map. And then they also have, if you continue to go down, the Windows instructions. So if you're on Windows and not a Mac, this is a great place to look. I'm going to be looking at it through a Mac perspective just because that's what I have. So the first thing that we need to do is actually download Arduino. So the Arduino IDE is up on their website. It's free. You don't need to pay anything for it. You can choose which operating system you're using. So they have Windows, they have Mac, they have Linux. If you're a crazy person, you can also do that. So now that we have Arduino downloaded onto our computers, we are going to take a look at all of the things that we need to do to actually set up this specific microcontroller. So we'll boot up Arduino and take a look at that. So here is my Arduino page. It looks a little bit different than yours just because it opened what I had open before. We need to go up to Arduino menu preferences. So it might be under file preferences if you're on a Windows machine. Here we can see the additional boards manager URLs. So you can find the URL for this specific board back on Adafruit's website. So if you scroll down a little bit more, you can read these directions directly from the website as well. You can copy and paste this link right here and then stick it into that little window. So you'll copy it from this website and paste it right into that little window inside Arduino. So that'll give you access to all of these boards listed here, and we are using the Gemma MO. All right, so once that's done, you've copied and pasted that into your preferences window. You'll need to close out of Arduino, open it back up. Okay, so under Tools, Board, and then Boards Manager, which is all the way up at the top, we're going to type in SAMD. So SAMD boards, you can see Arduino SAMD boards, 32-bit. It's the second one down in the list. I already have it installed. If you do not have it already installed, which I am assuming you do not, you can go ahead and hit that little install button. So here you can see the list of boards that you can use with this board addition that we're adding. Okay, so now that you're a pro at downloading boards from the Boards Manager, we have one more to download. So we're going to type in Adafruit, SAMD, and it should pop up. So Adafruit, SAM. Yes, so Adafruit SAMD boards by Adafruit version whatever, blah, 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 blah. You can see mine's already installed. Apparently I need to update it, but I'll do that later. So you need to install that one as well. So once you've installed both of those, close down Arduino again, open it back up, and it should be refreshed. Now that you have that Boards Manager installed, we need to actually pick that board, so our Gemma MO, inside our Boards Manager. So that's Tools, Board, and then you can see this huge long list that I have. Yours should not be this long. If you're new to Arduino, I just use it a lot, so I have an extensive list of boards. But what I'm looking for, once again, is that Adafruit Gemma MO. So it should be Adafruit SAMD, Adafruit Gemma MO in that list. So now you can see our board has updated, and now it says Adafruit Gemma, which is what we want. So now that we have Arduino all set up, we need to actually connect our microcontroller to our computer because otherwise you won't be coding anything. So we need our micro USB cord. So here you can see the little micro USB. And we are going to plug it into the micro USB port on our patch. So here it's the little silver thing. Make sure you put your USB cable in the correct way. I always do it wrong. So there you go. We've got a good connection. And now I'm going to plug it into the USB port on my computer. So now that we're plugged in, I'm going to go ahead and turn the on switch on my microcontroller so that this little purple, it's like a lilac-y light, lights up on your board automatically. So now back in Arduino, if we go to Tools and Port, instead of nothing, now we should be able to see our Gemma. So you can see in here, USB modem, Adafruit Gemma. And it needs to be able to see that port in order to load any code onto it. If you think about a USB stick or whatever being plugged into your computer, it can't send any information to that USB drive if it can't see it, right? So the Gemma works the same way. So we're going to use this blink sketch. So you can either find the one inside Arduino, or you can actually copy and paste the one directly from Adafruit. Either is fine. So you'll see the check mark is verify. So that's going to compile the sketch and make sure there's no errors in your code. So now it's done compiling. That means it was successful. If we had any errors, those would also show up. Now I'm going to use the arrow in order to upload. So now it's done uploading, which means the code should be working on our Gemma. So let's go ahead and check and see what our board looks like. Okay, so here we are. I have begun uploading the code onto my board. So when you hit download, it'll turn red, and then it'll turn green, and then it'll turn purple. And that's how you know it's done uploading onto your board, or that it's uploaded successfully. So let's go ahead and zoom in here so you can see how we know the blink sketch is actually working. So the blink sketch actually blinks the little red LED there instead of the purple one. So you can see it is in fact working. We have this red flashing LED that we are controlling with the code that we just uploaded. Great. You have successfully uploaded your first piece of code. So now you just need to go to my website. Up there you can see janaarndt.com/patchcode, and we are going to copy everything below the words Arduino code. So all of this I have written already before. So what this is going to do is blink or change color of that purple LED instead of that red LED, right? Much more fun. So every time we touch our conductive thread button that we sewed, it should change color. Okay, so just like we did with the boards manager, we need to include some new libraries for our Arduino code to function. So to do that, we're going to go up to Sketch, Include Library, Manage Libraries. and we are going to type in dot star. So dot star is actually the name or the type of color changing LED that we're going to be using on our Gemma. So in order to control that, we need that library. We also need this free touch Adafruit library. So you need to install both of those just like you installed the board for the boards manager by clicking the install button. So now you can see we have our code. We can verify it like we did before. We can hit upload. Here we'll see the board uploading the code. So it turns red, it turns green, and then it turns purple. So that's how we know it was successful. So now we can test it by touching our capacitive touch button that we made. So there you go. It'll cycle through being red, green, or off. Okay, so the final step for this patch to be done and ready to wear is actually making it mobile, right? So I can't walk around with it plugged into my laptop all day. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in my battery. And test out my button. So now that that's all working, I am going to actually attach my button to the back of my patch. So this is optional. Usually if I have a pocket near where I'm going to attach my patch anyway, I don't bother doing this step. But if I want to wear it, let's say on part of my backpack that doesn't have a pocket, or if I'm wearing it on a shirt that doesn't have a pocket, I will sometimes just attach the actual battery to the back of the patch. The only important thing to note is to try to avoid sewing the battery near the conductive thread, just in case the metal of the battery touches the metal of the thread. But other than that, this can be a really easy way to make your patch more mobile. So I'm going to go ahead and really quick sew this up. So we have our patch coated. We have our battery attached. Everything's working. I am going to go ahead and put some safety pins onto the corners so that I can attach it to different pieces of clothing without messing them up. Plus, you know, who doesn't love a good safety pin accessory? Great. So now this one is ready to attach to my jacket. Okay, so grab your piece of clothing and go ahead and safety pin your patch into a spot where you can reach it. So here I could have foregone attaching my battery to the back of the patch. I could have just stuck it inside the pocket of this jacket, but it's really up to you. There are so many resources for the Gemma, especially on Adafruit's website. So I highly recommend looking their tutorials up. You can completely recode your patch. So if you want it to do something else, something amazing, it's yours to do whatever you want with. So go out there, make some stuff.